Hello everyone, so this is a presentation that I'll be giving at the Knoxville Game Design meeting coming up later this month. And this presentation will be on promoting your game using social media, all the different ways that you can use social media to get the word out about your game. So first of all, I'll go over one of the bigger social media sites, Twitter. Twitter provides a few new tools now to give you more information on your tweets about your game, about the tweets that you're using to promote your game. So I'm going to show that here in a little bit. You can get different types of analytics on your tweets, how many impressions you have. Basically, impressions are how many times your tweet has been shown in to a user on Twitter. Now, it doesn't mean that they've actually looked at it or interacted with it. It just means that it showed up in their main Twitter stream. It can also tell you how many people actually expanded your tweet to view more details about it. And it can tell you how many times somebody has clicked a tweet to get more information, such as going to your website or viewing a video on your tweet related to that tweet, or any other number of things related to that tweet. It will also tell you, as you've been able to see before, the number of people who have retweeted that tweet, and also the number of people who have favored that tweet. And it can also tell you how many times a person has clicked on your profile from that tweet. And it also, with this new analytics tool, you can get an overview of things like your best, most popular tweet for the month or for the year or within a certain time period. And also on this slide at the bottom left hand corner, you'll see the number 8. That is the Alexa ranking for this social media site. So I'll be using that throughout this presentation, showing the importance or the number of people that are using each of these social media sites. And to get to your analytics, you just click your little profile image up here. I'm not sure if you have to be in like an enhanced program or anything like that. Preferred, I don't think you have to. I think everybody gets analytics now. But here it is, the Twitter analytics. So you can see within the last 28 days, and I'm not sure if you can change that value right there. You may only be able to see it for the last 28 days. But my number of tweets have went down 2%, 45%, so not necessarily a bad thing, just means that I haven't been tweeting as much lately. My number of impressions have actually went up, so with fewer tweets, I've been able to get 61% more views on those tweets, or those tweets have just shown up 61.8% more times than the previous month in people's Twitter streams. Number of profile visits, that's up 50% over the previous period, and I'm not sure if that's actually how many people like clicked on your home page or clicked on your main Twitter URL. Number of mentions have went down 27%, and that just means how many times someone else has used my Twitter handle in their tweet. And number of followers have gone up, which is always a good thing. And on this new analytics page, it's really nice. It separates these statistics by month, so I get a report for May of 2015, another one for April, and one for every month. So go back to the top, and for a month you can see, and this is actually the first day of June, so it hasn't updated for June yet, but you can see the top tweet, which this one wasn't gaming related, but it had 3,200 impressions, 3,280 impressions. That means it showed up over 3,000 times in people's Twitter streams. It only got 3 retweets and 3 favorites. Click on the tweet details, and you can get expanded details for this specific tweet. Number of times people click my profile when viewing this tweet. Number of times people expanded it. I don't know. There really wasn't much to expand in this tweet. There weren't any pictures or anything like that. 3 tweets. The number of people who followed me from this one tweet. So that's interesting information to know. So you can tell what types of tweets that you can put out there to get more people to follow you. And nobody actually replied to that tweet. And you can get this little graph that shows the organic impressions. I believe that's the same thing as just like an impression. It showed up in someone's Twitter stream. So you can see it has this sort of logarithmic or reverse exponential fall off based on the hour. So you can tell just like 5 hours later it has significantly dropped off almost to nothing. Then after 12 hours it's dropped down to the single digits. So that's one thing I never really realized, was that when you put out a tweet, that's when you're going to get the most people viewing it. You see the top mention for every month, and basically that is how many, how many times somebody's engaged with a tweet that you were mentioned in. Top meta tweet is basically your tweet for a month that got the most impressions with a graphic, or it may also be a video as well, but all mine are graphics that I posted. Yeah, this one was actually an animated GIF, so that also counts as a media tweet. Top follower, I'm not sure how helpful top follower is, because a lot of times there's these accounts out there that just go out and they follow a lot of people to get a lot of follows back, and sometimes you'll get those people following you just because they're trying to run up their follower count. So not sure how helpful that is, but it is good to know if you're being followed. I mean, it would be helpful if it told you who had the most tweets or who had the most followers that aren't following someone else. So that would mean like you may be followed by a celebrity or something like that. Top card tweets, I'll be talking about cards here in a little bit. And I just recently implemented Twitter cards into my site, so it basically tells you which tweet with a card got the most impressions. So here's a really interesting chart here. So when I tweeted this out, got quite a few impressions, 200 or so. Then after, I guess that's about a day, or no, after about 12 hours, it shot up even higher than the original tweet. So I had 270 in the first hour. Then over here, it got 300, almost 400 impressions. So I think that's when somebody retweeted me. This was a tweet about my talk at Codestock coming up this summer in July. And I think when the Codestock convention retweeted me, that's what shot it up right here. But after that, you see the same fall off again. And for each month, it gives you a summary, how many tweets you've tweeted out, how many impressions, how many times your tweets have shown up in people's Twitter streams, number of people who have visited your profile, and how many times you've been mentioned, and the total number of new followers. And like I said earlier, those are all grouped by month. And unfortunately, I don't think you can get a yearly view. That would be something nice to have, where if you could come in here and actually give it your own tailored time period. Oh, so I didn't know about this. If you click on Twitter cards, you can, let's see here, view how many impressions. Just another way of seeing how well your Twitter cards are doing. So that one did really well right there on May 10th. Had 7 tweets, up 700%. Had 1,600 impressions and 5 URL clicks. So I think the URL clicks are kind of low. I mean, I wish I had more people who are viewing the tweet would click through and actually view the content. I mean, you can have 1 million people viewing your tweet, but if nobody's actually clicking on the URL to view the content, then that's really not helping anything. Card types. So I'll talk a little bit more about cards in a little bit. There's like different types of cards. A summary card with it basically just has an image that you can display. So this is interesting. So I had a card right here where I made the announcement about Code Stock, and you can see this one had the most impressions. I think that was the one that I was looking at earlier. Yeah, so you can view that tweet right there. That got retweeted by the convention. This one here has been doing pretty good. I also have this tweet right here pinned to the top. And that's something I didn't mention earlier, but if you made a big announcement about your game or some important piece of news, you can go and just for one tweet, you can pin that tweet to your profile page, so it always displays at the top of your Twitter feed when somebody's viewing your profile. So I know this works pretty well with the web viewer. I'm not sure if the pinned tweets show up on mobile or not. And here's some more. So whenever I post something on my website about an article, I always link it right here so it shows up with the card, so you can get people clicking through and view a little bit more information about that. So I'm not sure about this influencers. Basically has me listed as my own influencer. That really doesn't make much sense. So here's a listing of tweets that drove the most clicks. Not exactly sure how this differs from which ones got the most clicks. Yeah, so this basically shows some statistics about how the retweets, tweets, and impressions are affected by your Twitter cards. This is similar to what we saw earlier in the overview. This shows you which of your tweets with Twitter cards got the most retweets. And again, no influencers. So it gives you a top interest of your followers. So this is good gaming news. I mean, that's what I would hope. The top language for my demographics is English and predominantly male, so that's an area that I could look into, driving up the number of female people on Twitter viewing my tweets on my website. It's, yeah, overwhelmingly 99% English. This doesn't make sense. I don't know how you can have 99% English and also 3% Spanish, 2% Japanese, and 1% other languages. And it also shows the country of origin for my Twitter followers, predominantly the English-speaking countries, United States, United Kingdom, and Canada. And yeah, this is interesting. 13% of my audience is from England. Another 5% from California, so that's understandable. You'd think there's a lot of people in gaming and gaming companies and developers in California. And obviously Tennessee, my home state. I'm actually sort of surprised that that is third in the list. And my hometown in Georgia, where I was born and raised, that's 4%. And yeah, there we go. England again. London. It's interesting. New York, big metropolitan area. That's no surprise. Ohio, yeah, that's kind of surprising. Washington, where Microsoft is located, may have had some Microsoft, I don't know, employees looking at some of my tweets. Who knows? Lifestyle. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how they determined some of these, how they come up with these categories. Because I know whenever I go into Twitter and set up my account, I don't tell them that, oh, I like gaming and technology and all that. So really not sure how they're coming up with these statistics. TV genres, not sure why that would be important to me, but I got a high percentage of people who apparently like drama, so that might give me a case to make a drama-related game. Who knows? And at the bottom, of course, it says the data reported is an estimate. Should not be considered official. And I don't know if this would be important to me or anyone else, but you can find out the wireless carrier for mobile users. And this could be interesting, like you can tell which devices people are using to access your tweets. And I could definitely use this to determine which platforms I would want to release my games on. So not sure why these aren't in order, because it has iOS at 28, then Android at 35 below it, and then desktop and laptop at 81. So these definitely don't add up to 100. Not sure how they're coming up with their percentages here, but yeah, that just shows, hey, maybe I need to target Android devices for my games before I look into iOS. Yeah, I haven't promoted any of my tweets, but if you choose to promote your tweets, you can give Twitter some money and they will put your tweet at the top or in the middle, embedded in tweet listings, giving you more visibility. You may be able to reach an audience that you hadn't before by promoting the tweet, but you have to pay them money. So if you don't have any income to begin with, you don't have any money to spend on advertising. I haven't had any good, haven't seen any good case studies on how much the promotion on Twitter actually helps. And since I never looked into promoting tweets, I'm not exactly sure what the rates are for promoting a tweet. And yeah, that's basically it for Twitter analytics. So when you're using Twitter to promote your game, as I showed earlier, it's really important to put out your tweet at the best possible time. So if you're tweeting at, say, 2 or 3 in the morning, in some case that may be a good time if you're trying to reach an audience overseas. You could schedule a tweet at like 13 hours ahead if you want to reach a Japanese audience, or 5 hours behind if you're trying to reach an audience in the UK. So typically when you use the Twitter web client, you only have the option to send that tweet out immediately. But there is another tool that you can use, which is called TweetDeck, and I've been using this for a few years now, and it's really nice if you need to categorize tweets and filter, and it gives you a live update. You can base these different columns on lists, so it's really good for viewing different tweet streams. You can create a column based on a search, so if you have a game, you can actually make one column just including your game name. That way you can see all the tweets related to your game. So this is one that I created for my game called TTY GFX Adventure, and you can see all of the tweets people have posted about my game. Now this only works if you have a game with a name that is fairly unique. But with TweetDeck, you can go in here and create a new tweet, and you say you want to make an announcement about your game. Say like, check out my new game, or big news, or something like that. You can come down here, you can schedule a tweet. It pops out with a little calendar, so you can select the day of the tweet and also the time. So typically I've seen the time that you can get the most visibility is around noon, 11, 12, 1 p.m. I think that's the time that a lot of people go to lunch on weekdays. So you can get a lot of traffic, a lot of views, a lot of impressions at that time, and also around 5, 6, 7 p.m. when people are coming home. If you post a tweet at that time, you can get a lot of visibility at that time as well. So you might just want to come in here and say at 6 p.m. I want to tweet out, check out my new game, big news. And you just, then it'll say tweet it. 4th of June. It's also important on which day you tweet. Typically, I tend to see most traffic on weekdays. Saturdays and Sundays, it can be not as much. I guess people are out and doing things. Also tend to see less traffic in the summertime because probably people are out doing things. Seems like I get a lot more views in the winter. So you just select your day and time and say tweet out at that time. So my big news tweet, you can come over and it should be a column. Yeah, I think it automatically puts a column for your scheduled tweets. So all your scheduled tweets will appear in this column. And it's a good idea to do this for any tweet really, because if you make a mistake and you can come back and look at it later, you can still make a change before it gets posted out by clicking edit. Then it'll come back over here so you can make like, oops, made a typo. So if you made a typo, you can change it, and then it will keep your same date and time. So you can just change it right there. So this will automatically tweet this out at this date and time. You don't have to have this client open. You don't have to have anything running. It just automatically does it for you. And by the way, TweetDeck, I'm pretty sure it's available to anyone that just has a Twitter account. And if you don't have a Twitter account, I highly recommend creating one if you intend to promote your game on social media. Yeah, use appropriate hashtags. If you want to get a lot of viewers, you definitely want to use hashtags such as game dev, indie game, if you're promoting a new game, because if you don't use a hashtag, then the only people that are going to see your tweet are the people who are following you. And if you don't have a lot of followers to begin with, then you're not reaching a very big audience. So using hashtags, there's different tools out there on the internet that you can use to find out the best hashtags to use. And this will make the tweet show up for anyone searching on this hashtag. And also Made with Unity is a good one for all Unity games developed using the Unity game engine. There's a lot of other tags you can use as well. I would only recommend not to abuse these, because if you come into game dev and you post to it like every hour or so, people will probably start to mute or block you. So yeah, just use it sparingly when you have announcements or something that you want to show off. And if you're making a tweet, don't use an @reply when you want something to go out to all of your followers. You may want to say, oh, at my cool game, or at some famous person. Well, if you do that, then it significantly reduces the number of people who will see that tweet, because the only people that can see that are the people who go into your Twitter profile and click on tweets and replies. So if you start out with an at somebody, like right here, then only people who click on that are going to see that, and the people that are actually mentioned. Yeah, and generally just keep your tweets informative. It may be a good idea if you have a lot of other hobbies or a lot of other interests, create one Twitter account for just your game, the stuff that you want to go out about your game development stuff, then another one for your hobbies and things like that, because some people just want to know about what you're developing. So if you start posting too many things that are off topic, then you may lose followers. On the downside, it can be a hassle trying to keep up with 2 different Twitter accounts. And there are tools out there that helps deal with that, but it can get confusing. You definitely don't want to post something on the wrong Twitter account, like for your hobby. You don't want to post that on your gaming Twitter account. Personally, I just have one right now. Actually, I have 2. I have one that is Levi D. Smith, at Levi D. Smith, and that is basically just strictly all game development stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of followers on that one. I do have another one, which is at GA Tech Grad, and that's where I post all of my day-to-day game development stuff. Some of my personal interest, I try to keep that to a minimum, but yeah, that's the one that I use for the bulk of my tweets. There are some other special promotions out on Twitter. The most notable one is Screenshot Saturday. So if you have something in development and you just want to show it off without like making a whole demo or anything like that, you can use this hashtag Screenshot Saturday and add a link to an image. It can be either like a PNG or a JPEG. And what that will do is this Screenshot Saturday website, this Screenshot Saturday will look at all the tweets that have been posted using this hashtag, and if they have a image linked, then it will add it to its vast database of game screenshot images. Now, some people abuse this. Some people apparently don't understand what Screenshot Saturday is supposed to be about, so sometimes you see some garbage in here, but it's a pretty nice way just to see what everybody's been working on. And if you click on one of these images, you can get a little blown up bigger image, and it'll give you the details of that tweet, where you can see more tweets from that developer and more screenshots from that developer. And it really doesn't have a good search engine, but you can view anybody's Screenshot Saturday page by going to user and then their Twitter handle name .html. So this is all of my Screenshot Saturday tweets that I've posted over the past couple of years. So you can click on any of these and get a bigger image, and yeah, it's kind of hard to read down here, but you can also see the tweet that went along with this image. So yeah, that's another neat way to promote your game. And generally, I like to keep a good follower to following ratio. If you're following a whole bunch of people, you don't have a lot of people following you back. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't look right to me. A couple of tools that you can use to help you keep a good follower rating or ratio. The first is friend or follow. And you just use your Twitter account and you give it access, and it will show how many people that I am following, but they're not following me back. So some of these can be like celebrities or politicians or something. So it's like, yeah, they probably aren't going to follow you back. But if you have some people and you don't know why you're following them, you can just like this is a game jam that I'm following. I could just like go over here and click unfollow. You can also filter these out. It's like, oh, if you just want to see everybody who's not verified. Twitter verification is a process for like celebrities. They can get Twitter verification, so it shows that they are who they say they are. And you can filter those people out. You can see people that are following you, but you aren't following them back. So some of these are just like junk accounts, just random noise out there. Most of the ones with these little eggs are people who have not set up a Twitter profile. They haven't even set an avatar, so those are probably, I don't know, spam accounts or something like that. So this is a listing of people that are following me and I'm following them back. So yeah, I think this is new. This is a listing of people who have unfollowed me since a certain date, since November 8th. So yeah, check out those people. Maybe send them a tweet saying, hey, why did you unfollow me? Another tool you can use is called TweeP. Yeah, so TweeP is very similar to friend or followed. You can see how many people aren't following you back. And it just gives you a different layout. I like this because it shows their follow or following to follow ratio. So you can see, it's like, oh, this person may be a celebrity or something like that. So it's like, well, not a big deal if they're not following you back. And you can also see the tendencies of someone to follow you back as well. If they have a low follow ratio, then that means they have a higher tendency of following you back. It also shows some information like the last time they tweeted. So if somebody hasn't tweeted in 3 years or so, you may want to drop them from your following list. Here's the people I'm not following back. Again, you can sort these by their follow ratio. It's like, oh, maybe you missed somebody and somebody important, you might need to follow them back. People I follow. And the people following me. Oh, you have to have the premium. So apparently TweeP does have some features that you have to pay for. They got these different silver, platinum accounts, but you can still get a lot of information just from the free account. One nice thing about TweeP, if you know somebody famous, let's see here, let's do code stock. So this is the convention that I'll be speaking at. So this is all the people who are friends with that convention. So these are people that I could potentially be meeting at the convention. So I could go in here and follow them even before the convention, so I can already know who they are when I go to the convention. So neat little tool right there. And for each person, you can, like, if you're not following them, it'll have a little follow button you can click. It has some other options. You can unfollow. You can, I'm not sure about this force user to unfollow you. It's kind of odd. You can create safe lists, so put somebody on the safe list so you don't accidentally unfollow them. And you can tweet out a message about that person, and you can add them to a list. And by the way, I do have a list of developers here in Knoxville in the game industry in our little indie game group. So it's nice to keep a running list of people that you meet, just so you have their contact information at a later date. So next I'll talk about YouTube analytics. So I highly recommend everyone have a YouTube page to promote their game. So to get to YouTube analytics, you click on Video Manager from your main YouTube page. And the analytics will be on the sidebar. So this just basically gives some data about the performance of my videos. over the previous period. So you can actually change the period on here. You can do like the last 7 days, or I'll just do the last month, the last calendar month, or you can do the last 30 days, filter it by quarters, or by years, or the last 365 days. So this gives you a lot of control. Or you can click on the calendar button here and set your own range. So let's do the last 30 days. So you can see the performance of all of my videos. So 2,000 views. It's down compared to the previous period, 6%. And it'll actually give an estimate of how long people have watched your videos. If you have ads incorporated into any of your videos, it will tell you how much you've earned. It'll show how many people have liked your videos in that period. And you can see here, and this is a little bit confusing because it says likes 13 and it has a down arrow. That just means, it doesn't mean 13 people disliked your video. It just means that that number of people have, it's fewer than that in the previous period. Dislikes, how many people have commented on your video in this time period, how many people have shared it, how many people who have added your video to one of their playlists, and your number of subscribers from the previous month. And again, if you have a down arrow on number of subscribers, it doesn't mean 9 people unsubscribed. It just means that you had 9 subscribers, which was down from the previous month. Then it will give you a listing of your top 10 videos with the number of views, the number of minutes watched, estimated number of minutes watched, and the earnings for all of those videos. And also it gives you some demographic breakdowns by country, the top countries, the gender, how people found your video, and the traffic sources. So you can click on any one of these to give you more details. So for this time period in the last 30 days, had an overwhelming number of people from the United States, few from the United Kingdom, Canada, few from Russia. It gives you a listing down here of the top countries. So you can see by country the number of views, number of minutes watched, and the average view duration for all of your videos. I really wish you could go in here and actually change the key. Maybe do more of a red, yellow, green, blue type instead of just one blue for everything. And let's see here, date. You can see based on each day of the month how many views, minutes, and view duration. So maybe if you released on a specific date or posted a video on a certain date, you want to see how that affects your traffic, you can view that here. Some subscription information, not sure exactly, haven't used subtitles or closed captioning. Yeah, here we go. You can just type in the video that you're searching for right there. You can click on that. And it will show you similar statistics, how many views you've got, number of minutes watched, and the other demographics for that time period. So right here I have it for the last 7 days. Let me turn that up to lifetime. Then you can see a lot more detail about the number of views. And like this one, you can see there's a huge spike when it was released, and it kind of fell off until it basically reaches 0. You can be the same for the estimated number of minutes watched, but I think that only goes back until, I don't know, back for a few years, because they haven't always had that feature. You can view information on the different countries where your viewers are coming from with the number of views, minutes watched, and the view duration. You can click on the real-time option over here, and that will show people in the last 48 hours and the last 60 minutes who have viewed your video. And this audience retention, so I use this quite a bit.
TTY GFX Adventure.
This will actually play your video, and as it is playing, it will show you the drop-off of viewers while the viewer is playing. So people who have shut their browser, they click back or just go somewhere else, it'll show you how many people dropped off. So this is a fairly good video, kept fairly good retention, drops down to about 50% at the end. This relative audience retention, it's a useful tool as well. So as the video is playing, based on the number of people who are still watching your video, how many people have dropped off from watching your video. So you want to keep that high as possible. But let me find another video. This is one of my playthrough videos. So you can see some real variation in the retention for this video. As I'm playing through these different games, you can see like there's like a steady decline, then it starts picking up. So maybe people are watching up to the first minute and then they jump ahead a couple of minutes to see what has changed. And like this part right here really captivated the audience, because you can see it was continuing to climb all the way through this portion. So apparently people just wanted to see this part of the video, and after that it starts dropping off again. So it just gives you a little bit of insight into seeing what people find interesting in your video. So you could do a video for your own game and see what people like and dislike about it. And here's the absolute retention for the same video. So this one we see a little bit more of a drop off. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, we're down to 30% of the 33% of the audience remaining. But after that, it stays pretty steady. Actually, pick up some people or stay about the same till the end. But this is a long video, so you can probably expect to see a lot of people drop off, because people don't have time to sit through a 9-minute video. And I talked about the real-time statistics earlier. Here's one with a little bit more activity. So yeah, this one had dropped off to about 50%. It slowly declined after that. We have the country information. And overwhelming, again, the English-speaking countries. So that just shows maybe I need to work on providing more content to other countries, area that I could work on. Maybe there's an untapped market in Russia or the Spanish-speaking countries in Southern America, Central America, places like that. But this one I was going to view the real-time statistics. Yeah, so this one has a lot of activity over the last 48 hours. You can see periods when I had a lot of views, and you can see these two views here. That's probably me clicking on my own video, or at least one of them was. So if you've recently put out a new video, then that's a good way to keep track of seeing how popular it is. And I've talked about this, most of this earlier, the demographics. I'm not sure how it comes up with general, because I remember a lot of times, unless you go in there and specify your gender, it really doesn't know. So this is maybe only a subset of your actual viewers, so it's trying to estimate that. I thought this video was interesting. I had more viewers in Japan than in the United States. It's actually one that I tried to do in Japanese, but the average view duration in Japan was 1/3 of the duration in the United States. So maybe it means I need to work on my foreign language, or maybe I said something that offended people, who knows, or maybe they just weren't interested in that type of video. So next I'll talk a little bit about using WordPress to promote your game. So when you log into your WordPress dashboard, I highly recommend having Jetpack installed. That will give you many more statistics. And you just scroll down, and in Jetpack, it will give you this basic graph of how many people have viewed your website. You can click View All. That will give you more statistics, or you can go to WordPress.com if you have your WordPress blog synchronized with WordPress.com. It's really simple to do. You just give it authorization, and then you can view statistics from the WordPress.com website. And so I want to view, let's say, months. So this will show me the performance of my website for each month. And thankfully, it looks like views are going up each month. And for each month, it will give you the number of views. And that's basically number of times a WordPress page was loaded or viewed. Then it will give you the number of visitors. And I think that's sometimes a more important statistic. That means how many unique people or unique computers or unique IPs are coming to your site, because you can have one person that just clicks around a lot, which it is good to have people who that come to your website, and I'll talk about bounce rate in a little bit, but it's also important to have many unique visitors coming as well. You can see the number of views per visitor for this time period, and you can see the actual posts that you made during this time period, this month. You can go all the way out to years, and you can see I've been slowly declining. I had a big release in 2013, so I'm trying to work on building the number of views up. But for this time period, you can see the top post, your most popular pages. Of course, this page is my home page, so it makes sense that was the highest viewed one. I think this home page is just an alternative view of that same page, or maybe a link to my main page. And one interesting statistic is 2 of my most popular pages aren't even game related. They're basically a couple of tools that I developed, and I don't know, maybe I've been thinking that people are using these tools maybe to aid with their coursework and things like that. So that really opened my eyes, showing me that, well, some of my most popular work is not necessarily game related. So this gave me a little bit more incentive. I wrote this K-map solver back in over 12 years ago. So I actually went in there and updated this tool with the latest technologies. It was a Java applet, which really aren't being supported by many browsers anymore. So I went in there and updated that with JavaScript and HTML5 canvas. And yeah, here's the game that I released in 2013. If you click on the year 2013, yeah, it's about the same actually. I was expecting that to go up a little bit, but yeah, it gives you an idea of what people are looking at on your site. It will tell you where your traffic is coming from. You can view all the different search engines. Usually Google is by far the most, where most of my traffic comes from, but I do get some searches from Bing and Yahoo and all these other engines like ask.com and some that I haven't ever heard of before. My Web Search, Incredibar, not familiar with those. But you can actually expand out some of these engines and it will give you the exact URL where it came from, like the specific country. Or if somebody found your site through a Google image search. And down here are the rest of the sites. You can actually expand that out and view all of the refers to your site. So talk about some of these other ones a little bit later, but not all the traffic is from search engines. And authors, I'm the only author on my website, but if you run a blog and you have different authors on your site, you can see who's being viewed the most. And you can see the countries over here. We've seen the same trend with the English-speaking countries, are usually at the top. And yeah, this was another interesting statistic. So the terms that people are using to find my website, I mean, it's all K-Map Solver, Punch Card Emulator, and Punch Card Simulator. So, and this is another tool that I developed for engineering economy. One person or few people search for me by my name. But yeah, that really showed me that people are coming for these like engineering and computer and electronics types tools instead of the games. Like here's an encryption tool that I wrote. A trade wars helper that I wrote. But yeah, as far as games goes, so that's another area I need to work on, is using like the game keyword and gaming to get my gaming related post ranked higher in the search engines. So yeah, now we get into like just a single viewers. That may have been myself looking for my website right there. So that's what I've talked about there, is the most popular content, the search engines that people are using to find my site, and this can also show you which social media sites need more attention. And you can also see where people are going. So from my website I can see people are going out to these other sites. Go back to months. So this is basically a link back to my site. Some people clicked on nddb.com to view more information. Some people clicked, if I see like a marketplace, that means they clicked on a link for my game to go to the actual marketplace page to buy the game, which is a good sign. So if I see marketplace, xbox.com, that's for one of my Xbox Live indie games, or apps.microsoft.com, that's one of my Windows 8 games. And some people clicked on a Game Jolt link where they can play it on Game Jolt, and that's still pretty good because I still get ad revenue, just a little small amount, but some ad revenue from sites like Game Jolt and Congregate. I don't see Congregate on here. Another one, I have some games on itch.io. And also, yeah, actually they don't have ad revenue on that site, but people can donate to your game if they do like your game, so they can give you some compensation in that method. Oh yeah, and you can actually expand out one of these websites and see exactly which game they clicked on to go play. So you can see there are 4 people for, yeah, it's kind of cramped there, can't exactly see, but you can actually click on that. You can see, oh well, people went and they clicked on that to go see TTY GFX Adventure. And it'll actually show you the page that they clicked on. And same goes, yeah. I guess this was only one game. They didn't click on my other game for the Windows Store. And I showed the search terms a little bit earlier. See what people are searching for to get to your site. And WordPress has a publicize option or feature that I've been using quite a bit. And so if you make a new post on WordPress, like add a new post, so like call it my new game. And yeah, you would definitely not do this, but check out my new game. You'd want to add like screenshots and features and yeah, nothing this simple. But if you go over here and you have the publicize feature turned on, you can link multiple social media accounts to this post. So, and if you click on that configure, you can turn certain ones off. Like I don't always want to have my post posted to my main personal Twitter account, so I turn that one off a lot of times. But I always want to have it posted to my one that's dedicated to games by D. Smith. And you can put a custom message like hot new news or something like that. And then after that, when you publish this article, then it will automatically post to all these social media sites. It'll post to Facebook, if you have a Facebook page. It'll post to your Twitter accounts, your LinkedIn, and Tumblr, all at the same time, posting a link to this article. So it's a really good way of creating like one message, one announcement, and linking to that page using multiple social media sites. Unfortunately, you are limited just to these. See if I can find where I configure that. So if you go to sharing on your dashboard, it's under, if you go to settings and then sharing on your dashboard, this is where you set up your social media sites for publicize. Yeah, like I said earlier, unfortunately you're just limited to these: Facebook, Tumblr, Path, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. And yeah, I don't even have Path, which I think is a fairly new social media site. But I think you have to have mobile to use it. And Google+, I haven't set that up yet. But yeah, it's a good way to get the word out about a post. And SEO is search engine optimization. There's a good tool called Yoast plugin that will enable some SEO type tools to help ensure that your posts are formatted and constructed in a way that makes it visible to the most search engines, so that search engines see your page and then move it up in the rankings because you have good content. And so if I go to a post, okay, so this is an article that I wrote over the weekend on indie game booth analysis, my thoughts on things, good things and bad things about indie game booths. So when you add the Yoast plugin to WordPress, it will go in over here and add this SEO check over on the side. So you can do an SEO check on the article to see if it is suitable for search engines, so that search engines will pick up on it and rank it highly in search ratings. So at the bottom here in your WordPress SEO by Yoast, it will do a few checks. It will show what it looks like in web browsers or in the search engine results. You can give it a focus keyword, so if you're really looking to get traffic from certain search words, you can type those in here. Then it will check your article to see if it's included in the article heading, page title, the URL, and in the content and in the meta description. So having those words in these places will increase the likelihood of it appearing higher in the search engine results. You can give a specific SEO title so it shows up differently in search engines, and you can give it a meta description. So I believe search engines use this meta description for indexing your site. Maybe it doesn't download the entire content of your site, but this is the text that would be displayed below the preview for this page in a search engine. It also gives some really helpful analysis of your page. Green are things that are good, yellows and reds are things that you can work on. Checks and sees how often the keyword is appearing in your article, how many words. Like if it's under 300 words, then it's going to complain. It'll give you a little red dot saying, hey, you need more content in this page. It checks and see if you have an appropriate meta description, and checks your page title to see if it's appropriate. It checks to see if you've used that keyword before. If you have multiple pages all with the same keyword, that might not be a good thing. I guess this is a good thing. I mean, I guess you do want links, outbound links. Like I said earlier, it's a good thing to have links to your marketplace pages. I wouldn't go overboard with outbound links. Maybe the more you have, maybe it's not as good because you'll have people leaving your site unless you set it to, when you create a link in your WordPress article, I'll just show it up here. Say I want to have that as a link. Then I can type in a URL, but I always want to click this open link in a new window. That way people still have my site in their browser, even if they go somewhere else. Because if you don't have that checked and somebody clicks your link, then they're gone for your site for good unless they click back. So I always want to have that checked. It provides some other statistics, copy score, this flash reading ease test. I'm not sure about all the statistics about that, but I'm assuming the higher score you have, the better. It recommends having H2 tags. I'm not sure if that's really important or not, but it does give like a flow and a layout of your article. If your meta description isn't long enough, it will tell you have up to 156 characters. So it highly recommends that you use all of that. I don't know about this one. Page title. I don't know if you really need a long page title. It recommends having 40 characters in your page title. This is a good one, having alt tags in your images, because some engines actually look at the alt tags to determine how those are displayed in search engine results. And the keyword density. I only used, see, in this one I had indie game booth. But in my opinion, if you state that that's what the article is about, you don't need to mention it multiple times in the articles. But it may be good to throw it in there every now and then, just so someone searching on the web will be able to find something about indie game booths when they enter that into their search engine. I guess it takes all of that into consideration. In the Yoast plugin, it does have some optional social media features, like if you want to give it a different title on Facebook or a different description or a different image. I've noticed on Facebook, when you post the link, sometimes it just randomly picks an image to display alongside that post, so sometimes it's good to supply your own image. And same for Twitter. Set the image, description, and title. Yeah, and that's about it for the Yoast plugin. I definitely think it's a good thing to have to improve your search engine rankings for your post. It also gives you a view. When you're looking at all your posts, you can go through here and see which ones have green lights and yellow lights, so you can quickly go through here and see which pages or posts need some attention. There's also some additional tools, Google Insights, AdWords. I don't use AdWords, but some just additional features that the plugin gives you. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about social media cards, which I mentioned earlier. So on Twitter, social media cards are a way to add a bit of content to a tweet that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to add to a tweet. The first type is this, I forget what they call it, but it's like just a little preview picture of the page that you're linking to. And yeah, here's another example over here. Where whenever I post a link to one of my posts on WordPress, it puts a little preview image right there. So how that's actually implemented in code, you can see in the meta tags and the HTML header, there's a few of these lines that say meta content equals in summary large image, then it has Twitter :card. That means you're adding an image for the card. And also you can add the title and description of your post as the Twitter :description, and then you can have the name of your article as the Twitter :title, and basically you just have your Twitter handle as the Twitter site, and you also have your handle as the Twitter creator. And then as the Twitter :image :src, that is the link to the image on your WordPress blog. So instead of going in and implementing that for every single page on your website, you can use that Yoast SEO plugin that I mentioned earlier. You can go in using the Yoast SEO plugin and just on your sidebar here, go to SEO, then go to social. And you can set some different properties for different social media sites. I'm not exactly sure how much these are used. It does say that Google uses them as social profiles. But if you click on Twitter, you check Add Twitter Card Metadata. And it adds those meta tags that I mentioned earlier into the head section of every page. And you can pick the type of image, if you want an image or if you just want a summary. You press change, save changes, and that will go through and add those meta tags for every single post on your blog, so you don't have to manually enter all that code for every single post. So it's really helpful. Let's see here, go back to my Twitter account. And yeah, there's a Twitter card right there. So ordinarily it would just have a link to my blog post, but it wouldn't have this image with this little summary down here. Here's another one right here. The one thing that I don't like about the cards is you don't automatically see it in your timeline. You have to click down here and click View Summary, and then it will display the Twitter card, which is basically this image, the title of my blog post, and a little short description down here. So, I mean, it adds a little bit. I've noticed from my post on Twitter, the ones that include an image, they by far get the most views out of any tweets that I do. So it seems like including just any sort of image on a tweet greatly improves the visibility of that tweet. And on YouTube, YouTube also has this concept of a card, but it isn't exactly the same thing as a Twitter card. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of the same thing. Whenever a movie is playing, you can add a card, and in the upper right-hand corner of the video, it will pop up a little window up there, or a little bubble, and it will allow you to click on that bubble and link to some other content. In this case, I have my Expand Array video, and it shows a link up there. So this is the time-lapse video, and you can see it right there. Read Expand Array Postmortem. So I can click on that, and it's going to pop out this little panel on the side. And when I click on this in the panel, it's going to link to my postmortem on my own website. So people can read more about what I did to create this game for the Ludum Dare competition. So I don't think that's anything that's ever been done before. I mean, previously you could go down here in the comments or down here and post it right here in your description, a link, but I don't think they've ever had the ability to link directly to a URL in the video up here. Now, there's a couple of different ways, let's see here, that you can add cards. So it's fairly simple. One issue is that you can only link to, any video, but you can only link to web pages that are registered on your verified YouTube site. So to verify your YouTube site, or to verify your home site on YouTube to your channel, Channel Advanced, you scroll down, and this is where you associate your website with your YouTube channel. And once you have that associated, then you can go in, and for a video you can click on the cards icon, click add a card, and then you can place that card anywhere in the playtime of that video. And yes, this little eye symbol right there, and you can go to cards, and here's the timeline. You can see I have one card right there, placed right there at the beginning. Now I can add a new card, and you just click create, and you give it a link to your website. Now, like I said earlier, it has to be to your own website. You can take that URL, copy it, and I guess you can select any of the images that are currently loaded for that page. There's the title. I guess you can change that if you want to. I'm not sure about, I think call to action is what actually pops up in the little dialog box there. Then teaser text, and you click create card, and then that adds the card to your page there. So have another one. And there's a card. So this one actually has two cards. This one has a link to the postmortem. You can click right there. And that'll link to my website where you can read I'm all about TV World, the post-mortem and all that, and link to play the game. Or you can scroll down, and I have a link to a YouTuber who did a Let's Play of my video. So you can click on that, and that will pop up his video of him playing through my game. So, I mean, it's just kind of neat that you have that right here in a little panel on your video. And I'm not sure how this looks on mobile devices or on TV, but I'm pretty sure this is still implemented on those devices. I think you access them in a different way. It's not in a panel. But yeah, I think it's pretty neat right there. You have some related content right there on the video. So, because a lot of people don't look at the description down here, and fewer people expand the description. So one other thing I want to talk about was Google Alerts. So if you're releasing a new game and you want to go out, if you want to find out everyone that is mentioning your game on the internet, you can create a Google Alert. And what that will do is you type in some keywords, and whenever Google finds a page on the internet that has those words mentioned, it will send you an alert. Now you can have it happen like as I have here. As it happens, as it finds those keywords on the internet, it can send you a message every time, or you can set it to send you a message at certain intervals. Like you want to know once a week, everybody that's mentioned TTY GFX. You can get an alert every week, or you can get it daily or whenever. So yeah, it's google.com/alerts. I think you have to have a Google account. You might be able to provide any email address. I'm not sure about that, but I know it works with my Google account. And I currently have 4 alerts set up. One for my name, one for my resistor game, one for TTY GFX, and I think this is the one that I just clicked on that I didn't mean to click on. I guess anyone that mentions my email address. But say I want to have an alert when somebody mentions Expand Array. Just show options, how often, once a week, once a day, or as it happens. You can specify, like if you only want videos that mention that keyword, or blogs, or news items, or books, or any of these other things. I usually just leave it on automatic. You can specify the language. I usually leave that as English. You can narrow it down by region. You get all results or only the best ones. And you can either get those results sent to you as an email, or you can have it posted to an RSS feed. And yeah, you just create alert, and that adds it to your alert list. And then you'll get an email whenever somebody mentions one of those keywords. And you can see here, this is a picture from one of the emails that I got when somebody mentioned my game on their website. So, I mean, that's a good way if you want to know when somebody has mentioned your website, and maybe you want to go and contact that person, thank them for writing a review for your game, or whatever they did for you. There's a way to keep track of that. Because a lot of times I don't ever know when somebody writes a review on my game. There are some people that I go out and send review codes, but a lot of times the reviewer will never tell you that they've reviewed your game unless they put out a tweet, then put your Twitter handle in that tweet. And that's the only time I'm ever aware when somebody writes a review on one of my games, unless I have an alert set up for that game. So one of the things that I've been looking into is Google Analytics, and it's a nice way to keep track of all the traffic coming to your website. What you do is you go in and you create this thing called a property. That's basically an ID for your site. You get a tracking ID, then you can plug that into your Google Analytics WordPress plugin. So you do have to download another plugin for your WordPress site. And plugins are really easy to install. You just click on plugins. You can add new. And it gives you some of the most popular ones right there. You can search, so you just search for Google Analytics. I'm not sure if it will. Yeah, it should show it, even though I already have it installed. Yeah, so there it is right there, Google Analytics. And you can tell that's the right one because it has 500,000 people, 500,000 installs. Usually the ones with the higher install counts are usually ones you can rely on. But let's see here. Setting, you just go to settings and then down to Google Analytics. And this is where it generates a web property ID for you. No, actually what you do is you create a Google Analytics account. It all works off your regular. So you go to google.com Analytics. Sign in. I don't know why they have this page. Just sign me into Google Analytics. So I have two properties currently set up. I'll talk about this other one here in a little bit, but the first one I just have it for Levi D. Smith Entertainment. And go in here. And it's kind of hard to find stuff in this. You go into admin. There's my account. There's my property. Go into property settings, and that shows me my tracking ID right there. And that's the value that I use in the WordPress plugin. And you basically just give it a name and then the URL for your site. And once you add the tracking ID to your website, it should come up fairly quickly. And you can come in here and get, let's see here. You can get real-time statistics. Currently, nobody's on my site right now, which is unfortunate. But let's see here. If I go to my site, then you can see right there it popped up. It should show the location. Yeah, there it goes. So it just turned green. It shows me right there in Tennessee, looking at the site. And one really neat feature of this is, watch me minimize this window, and it shows my top pages. I'm currently at the top level of my website, but if I pull this out, if I pull my website out right there, and then I scroll down and say click on Dreamworld, then watch over here on the analytics page. It showed another bit of activity right there. So yeah, there it goes. It just changed to Dreamworld. So it gets an accurate real-time snapshot of every single page that is being viewed on your website, which I think is really neat. So here's like when I was getting a little bit more activity. It shows how many people are on your site, where they're located, and real-time statistics. It can also break down the users on your website, whether they're desktop or mobile users. It can give you information on the top refers to your site, where your social media traffic is coming from, and also what keywords people are using to get to your website. So you got these different dashboards. The standard one I think is My Dashboard, and this is the one that comes out of the box. And it gives you some interesting graphs. So this is like over the last month or so. It will show how much time people are spending on my page. So this is interesting. People are actually spending more and more time on my website as time goes by. The number of users is kind of up and down depending on what the day of the week. Like Tuesdays don't look good. Thursdays don't look good. Here's a little dry stretch right here. But then it rebounds. It comes back up. Saturday I had 74. That's actually pretty good. 29. I'm not sure if this counts repeat visitors or not. If like one person keeps coming back, if that adds up. So what I would expect is that these stats right here would mirror the stats that I'm seeing on WordPress. So I'm thinking these are not individual users. Can tell you which browsers people are using to get to your website. So I never use Chrome, but Chrome is by far the most used browser to get to my website. Firefox, Safari. I use Safari a little bit on my iPhone or iPod Touch, and the few people out there using Internet Explorer. Not sure about page load time. It's always 0, and I know there is some load time associated with my page, so that one isn't the most accurate. It does keep track of new users. So apparently, I guess by IP, it determines if these people have ever visited my site before or not. And then we have bounce rate, and I think this is an interesting statistic right here. So a bounce is basically when somebody comes to your website and they view one page and then they leave. They don't click on any other content on your website. They just visit that one page. So that's a bounce. So you can see a little bit over half the people that come to my website, they bounce, about 60%. It varies day to day, but typically that's not a good thing. I mean, it could be a good thing if people are bouncing from your website and they're going to the marketplace to buy your game. That's not a bad thing. But typically, it's like if somebody comes to your site, you want them to click on something else, view other content on your website. Now, I have another property in Google Analytics, and I recently put my TTY GFX adventure game on Greenlight, and Greenlight also gives you the ability to take a property ID from Google Analytics and then put that into your Steam page, your Steam Greenlight page. That way you can get analytics on your Greenlight page, which I think is pretty neat. I mean, and see how many people are visiting your Greenlight page. So it's like when I first put it up on Greenlight, it had 600 viewers, getting all sorts of traffic because I was right there on the new, hot and new Greenlight game page. So then you have that same logarithmic drop off, especially after you get pushed off the top of the list on new games, and users is about the same. And you can see where my game was popular. Interestingly enough, I mean, I had a lot of visitors from Russia, and apparently they like old school BBS games. They were about half, almost half of what the United States was. Canada had a few from there. I wish they made some of these countries a little bit bigger. It's like, oh, it's kind of hard to see how many. 22 from Japan. And so, yeah, this is one that didn't follow the typical English-speaking country. Like United Kingdom, they only had 88 people view my Greenlight page. Maybe there's a huge Greenlight or Steam community in Russia. I never knew that. I don't know. So yeah, this is just more statistics for my Greenlight page. One reason I brought this up on my Greenlight page, it's almost 100% bounce rate because people are coming to my Greenlight page and they're not going to any other pages there. They're just there to vote it up or down and they're leaving. So high bounce rate for that, but maybe not necessarily that bad. Average duration. Yeah, let me go back to my main website. Oh, that's another dashboard. So the number of pages sort of kind of mirrors how long people are spending on pages. My website gives you some sort of idea. So I noticed like a spike right there. That I think that's when I put my game on Greenlight. So people were checking out my website, the page on the website as well, when I put my game up on Greenlight. So that's an interesting dashboard. You can actually click New Dashboard. You can start out with a blank dashboard. They got another like starter dashboard where you can import one from the gallery. And I really like picking one out of the gallery because they have a lot of these little widgets already set up and in useful ways that you can use them. So you can go into any of these and just click import, and some of them have errors, but on most of the ones that I've tried, it just imports the dashboard. So here's some, I think I made this geo dashboard. So this shows all of the places where I've gotten hits from my website. Sometimes you hover over one of these locations and it'll bring up a little magnifying glass. So I was like, oh, here in San Francisco, I can see which areas around San Francisco. It's got it broken down in San Francisco, Hillsborough, Alameda, some other little communities, Santa Clara, around San Francisco. You can look in Tennessee. Obviously, this is me pretty much, and maybe some other people around the area viewing my website. Have a lot of activity up here around New York area. And again, I think this is, yeah, this is just for the last month. But I didn't start Google Analytics until like April anyway. So it'll probably take some time for me to get some really good statistics using this. Probably a few months. But as you can see here, got a lot of activity here in Europe, a lot of activity in the United States, some sprinkled around South America, a little bit in China, which I didn't know they had access to outside internet anyway. Some in Japan, right here. And you see this really big spot in the middle or on the western bank of Africa. And that's just everyone that doesn't have their country set, or it wasn't able to determine their country. So for some odd reason, it just puts a big blob right there in Africa. And you can get some statistics by country, how long people have been on your page. I think that's on average. See, that 49, I mean, that might be somebody clicked on my page and left their system open or something, so it just runs up the time. I don't know. Also has statistics on hits. I actually get quite a bit from Russia. And United Kingdom only 10. But yeah, like I said earlier, it's going to take some time to build some real statistics. Here's the dashboard. Mobile e-commerce gives you details, bounce rate. I don't have revenue set up on my website, but how many sessions for each mobile device, like the iPhone and Google Nexus tablet, the iPad, some other Android devices, an iPod, and then the bounce rate for each of those devices. Still not sure about campaigns, really haven't used those much. Here's like some keywords that people have used to find my website, which you would think this would mirror what I saw in WordPress, but some of these I didn't see in WordPress. Some of these look like spam, so maybe WordPress just kicks those out. But I do remember seeing like Kmap Solver on my WordPress statistics. The top content for mobile devices, / is my homepage, and it tells you the average time people spend on each of these pages. So it's kind of neat to know. It's like, oh, people on average spend 7 minutes on my Expando Ray Postmortem, so apparently they enjoy reading that article. So that can give me some insight on what content people like on my website. Yeah, there's another Expando Ray. Some of these are really short, like, that's just my announcement of me speaking, and people didn't hang around very long. And SEO, search engine optimization. Still not sure about these goals, but yeah, it shows how many sessions for each of these, different posts, the landing pages of various posts, and which keywords people are using to find my website. It breaks it down by 1 keyword, or 1+ keyword, 2+ keywords, 3+ keywords, 5 or more. So site performance. For some reason, yeah, my pages aren't loading instantaneously. I know there are at least a couple of seconds it takes to load, but it gives you page load time by browser. Gives you the domain lookup by country over here on the right side. Yeah, all the load times are 0, so something's not registering there. Social media dashboard. Number of visits. I think this one gives a breakdown. Yeah, read an article. How many sessions by Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Reddit. So by far Twitter, I've had the most people reach my website by Twitter. So that just shows me I need to work on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Reddit a little bit more. And social visits and quality from mobile. So this is like by each mobile device, how many people came from a social media site. Yeah, so there's all sorts of dashboards out there that you can add in Google Analytics. So I mentioned earlier the time people spend on page users and the browser type, get all that information, where your visitors are coming from, the bounce rate, country, new users. So another tool that I started using was Google Webmaster Tools. And yeah, that's one of my complaints is like, why do they have Google Analytics and then also Google Webmaster Tools? Can't they just have like one Google Analytic Webmaster all together? I mean, is there really a need for 2 different websites for this stuff? But Google Webmaster Tools kind of offers like a little different statistics, like content keywords, and it's more targeted toward how Google views your site when it crawls your site, and the robots that go and search through your site to index it to add it to Google. To get Google to be aware of your website, you can use the Yoast SEO tools, that plugin that I mentioned earlier, and you can go into XML sitemaps and you can generate a sitemap. So that basically is an XML file that has a listing of all of the content on your website, all the pages. I think it has all the images too. And all sorts of other all your categories that are set up in WordPress, and all your tags that you have for your website. So it puts all that in XML, and you can take that XML file or that XML directory, plop that into Google Webmaster Tools, and that will help the Google robots index your site more efficiently. One thing that I wanted to mention on the Google Analytics, I think acquisition overview. You can determine actually more another view of like how people were referred to your website. Did they come directly or from a social media site or something else? Yeah, here we go. So yeah, this is another view of all the social media sites: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Reddit. Those are the 4 that it tracks. It shows the number of new sessions, total number of sessions, new users, the bounce rate, pages per session, average duration. I'm still not sure about the goals, and if you're doing AdWords and all that, I'll show that over there. Yeah, this is the one that I was looking for, behavior. I think this is it. Page views, average time on page, bounce rate, page title. So like K-map solver, let me click on that one. Oh, here it is, behavior flow. This is an interesting graph right here. I'll expand this out. So this shows like all the people that are coming from these sites, or people land on the starting page, and it shows which pages they go out to. But they start at 928 sessions started out on my home page or the front page. 13 went to TTYGFX. 12 went to category utilities, 12 went to expand array postmortem, 7 went to category speaking, and then 43 went somewhere else. Then from there, those people, the second interaction, this is like the second link that they clicked on my website. Then I'll show the second link they clicked, 39 was the home page, 10 people is K-map solver, and it breaks those down like that. Then it shows like down here, people who landed on a different page, like they landed on K-map solver, where they went to after that, or they started out at TTYGFX. Then it also shows you like a breakdown of how many people dropped off after they went to that one page, or did they click through to something else, and if they did, what did they click to? You can also filter these down by a bunch of different categories. I'm not sure about these variables and all that. I haven't figured that out yet. Let's see, users. Look, you can break it down by city. Yeah, so here's me in Knoxville, 193. Samara, I don't know what's going on there. Some weird spam thing or something. 15 Knoxville, 6 from Delaware, then 268 from other places. They all went to the main spot. You can see 15 people from Knoxville went to do's and don'ts of indie game booths. See, all the Delaware people pretty much went to the starting page. So it's kind of interesting there. Oh, and I think you can zoom in and out. I don't know if that really helps. I could use a further zoomed out. It's almost, oh, there you go. You can click on that. You can go left and right. So you can see the third interactions over here. So the third most interacted was my front page, and then expand array, and it breaks it all down that way. So yeah, Google.com webmasters. Why they have this broken out into a different site, I don't know. Maybe it was 2 different teams working on analytics and webmasters, or maybe webmasters is older than analytics, I don't know. But they got this another, I was like, oh, click to sign in. Well, I'm already signed into Google, so why do I need to click that again? But yeah, they recommend having like every variation of your website name. So if you either go to levidsmith.com or www.levidsmith.com, it both takes you to the same place, but apparently Google Webmaster Tools wants you to have both of these entered. And it's the same property type thing going on here. And it'll give you information on crawl errors if they had errors like going to a certain link or something. It's good to have few errors as possible. Not sure what a soft 404 is. See, these are fairly recent. What links here? This is like something on my Legend of Tux wiki from years ago. Something's not linking right or something. Access denied. Apparently a robot tried to access skins. Couldn't get access. These may be some broken links. So this is good. I mean, here's some things that I need to go fix. Bomb Squad post-mortem. So the reason this one is a 404 is because I consolidated the post-mortem into the Bomb Squad page, the game page. So, but I thought it would redirect using that URL. So this is some pages that I might need to go in and fix right here. Crawl stats. Shows you how many pages it crawls every day. That's kind of odd. I would think it would come around once every few weeks or whatever and crawl everything, but maybe it only gets a portion of your site every day. Then this shows you how many kilobytes it's downloaded every day. How long it's spent downloading all of the pages. This is kind of neat. It shows how Google views your web page. Fetch and render. And this is how my website appears to a search engine. So it doesn't see all the whoop-de-doo fancy CSS and all that. So it just sees just the basic text. So this is kind of good. I mean, sometimes text that is smaller, a person may not see, but all the text looks the same to a search engine robot. Then it gives you how a visitor sees your page. So when a visitor comes to my site, they get the nice pretty table with everything aligned and everything. So apparently you can grab one of the style sheets or a CDN, which is a way of offloading some of the content to another site. Robot text. Tester. So if you got a robot's text, I think you can put it in here. Sitemap. I talked about sitemap a little bit earlier. It's a way you can go in, and so here's the sitemap that I had submitted using the Yoast SEO plugin. So I just pointed it at my sitemap XML. You get that URL from the Yoast SEO, and it gives you a little graph of how many pages it's indexed and how many was submitted. It gives you some warnings and things like that. They haven't detected any security issues. That's definitely a good thing. And some other resources which I haven't used. It's got some other information. I really haven't worked too much with this. Structured data. It's like seeing a lot of items with errors, and maybe that's something I need to look into. Project archive. Yeah, so it's like missing some metadata, an author, and an updated date. I don't know if I really need to fix that. Duplicate meta descriptions. So it found 2 pages with this is where I consolidated the post-mortem into the game page. So I kind of expected that. Okay, so there's some more sites that you can use to promote your game. The first one that I'll mention is Zebra Strut. It's run by a guy named Cynic Placebo. That's his Twitter handle, at least. Not sure what his real name is. But it's a good site that this guy set up. So you can go in here and you create an account. And what you do is you can promote your game on here. Yeah, join our indie community. And all he asks you to do, yeah, Cynic Placebo, all he asks you to do is join one of their developer list or follow one of their developer list. And once you do that, you can submit your game, get featured for free, put in your Twitter handle, your URL of your game, of the website for your game, the name of your game or app, a thumbnail, a banner, and a description of your game or app. And yeah, says he gets 1,300 visitors. I'm not sure if that's per day or per month or all time or whatever, but yeah, he'll frequently go out and post a tweet about your games, like, oh, go check out my game on Zebra Strut, or I think they might even link to the marketplace, but it'll like feature your game here in this listing of games, and this listing of games changes every time it gets reloaded. So I don't know how many gamers actually check this out, but I mean, it is another avenue to promote your game. If anything else, other developers may be checking out your game here. And it also helps that it's another person tweeting about your game on Twitter. Another good site is IndieDB, and it's just a huge database of indie games. So this is my IndieDB account. I joined in 2012. You can get like a summary, my Twitter feed, my friends. Only have one friend right now, Chaos Soft Games. And a listing of my games. So these are the 3 games that I submitted: my One Gunman, Resistor, and TTY GFX Adventure. It shows like the games I've released, number of views, 4,000 views. So that's 4,000, almost 5,000 people that are looking at some of my games that I wouldn't have had before. And I had 9 today. So then if you get into the top 100, then that definitely gets you more visibility. But yeah, I submitted this Resistor 2 years ago. So you can upload some screenshots of your game. People can comment on your game. You got a couple of little buttons you can use on your website. You can upload a video of your game.
Tell your sister. Get your money for thumbs, get blisters.
Use resistors to avoid damaging valuable components.
You can set the genre, theme, number of players, and things like that. So, yeah, it's just good to have your game on here just for people who browse IndieDB. I mean, it's just another way to promote your game with a video and some screenshots and things. You can make announcements and things like that. Oh, so here's some statistics. So, yeah, when I first posted, I was like on the new list. So you see the same logarithmic fall off over time. It just drops off. And there's like a little bump there. So that's visitors. You can change it to video. Not very many video views, but still one a day. I mean, that's views that I haven't had before. And images, how many people are checking out the screenshots. And also 1 game a month. So that's something I participated in for a little while. Is a challenge to make a game every month. I mean, even if it's just something simple. But yeah, click on my profile. So they give you a score based on these little game development accomplishments that you achieve. And you can add links to all your different social media, your Congregate and your Itch.io and your Game Jolt and your Twitch TV and all that. You can add links to those. But originally it's like a 12-month competition, but yeah, it keeps track of every game that you develop every month. And you just give it the name and a short description and a link to your game, and they'll get added in there. Then you get points for adding new games. Then there's like also other achievements, like, oh, help out other developers, or do a press release or press kit, or post a link to your blog, create a portfolio, and things like that. Join with a meetup group, track sales and post your stats and things like that. Then you got fan mail, people making comments about your games, and then your Twitter feed again. Unfortunately, this site has a limit that you can only submit 24 games. So I've been doing this for over 2 years now. And you just go and edit your games. You can post that information. But yeah, I ran out of slots, so I can't do it anymore unless I create like another account, which I really don't want to keep track of 2 different accounts on here. But I mean, with the fan mail and everything on here, this is another avenue to promote your games. Like, that's one person that checked out my game. And I'm sure there were a lot of other people that checked out my games as well. They just didn't comment. And I always think more sites linking into your sites, if you have the ability to have other sites through things like that to link to your site, I think that's always better. I think search engines take that into account when doing the search rankings. So if you have, like, I don't know, whenever you post a game on Microsoft or the Xbox, then if you have the ability to add a link back to your website, I highly recommend doing that, because that's like a big name site linking to you, so that definitely helps you in the search engine rankings. Okay, Facebook. I haven't done that well in Facebook, but according to the Alexa website rankings, it's like the #2 site in the world, so definitely worth it to at least create a Facebook page for your games or for your studio or whatever. Right now, I mean, when I first started out with the pages, I tried to make a page for every game, and yeah, a lot of them didn't get any traction at all. So I just have like one website or one Facebook page now for the Levi D. Smith Games and Entertainment. And there's actually a story why I changed it to Levi D. Smith Games and Entertainment, because that Yoast plugin that I was talking about before, I told this, like, oh, I'm a gaming site. And it was like, oh, you don't have games in your title or anything anywhere. So I added Games and Entertainment. I'm not sure that's propagated through all my social media yet, but I did make that change. It's a little bit long. I could just make it Levi D. Smith Games, but I do a lot of other things as well. So I do a little bit of podcasting, and I do those other tools that I talked about before. So I kind of feel like entertainment encompasses everything that I do. And it's been really hard for me to get likes on Facebook. I mean, I have a lot of Twitter followers, but yeah, Facebook has not been very friendly to me. Some people have said a Facebook group may be better. Apparently, if you have a page, you only appear in searches if you pay to be included in searches. But apparently, you can search for a group, and there isn't that pay-to-play type deal with the group. So that might be something I'll look into doing. So they got these different things whenever you can promote your page, so it appears like in the little ads on the side. You give Facebook some money, and you get featured more often. Or you can promote a specific post, so that appears in people's timelines and things like that. And you can choose a budget for promoting your page or your post or whatever, and you just basically specify how much you want to give them a day, and they give you an estimate of how many likes that should get per day. So I don't know, it seems fishy to me. I mean, how do you even really know that people are seeing? I mean, I guess if you get more likes, and that's a visual metric, but I don't know, they could have just like robots out there liking your page and having a lot of likes, or even on Twitter. I mean, the philosophy that I take on Twitter is that I just follow primarily developers or gamers. I don't follow back robots and things like that, because that doesn't help me at all. But if I actually get real people, prospective customers looking at my social media, then that is of value to me. So I don't know, I mean, who these people are that are giving the likes on the Facebook. And you can see they give you a metric of how many people you reach with each of your posts. You can boost those posts. And I'll take a quick look at that. So this is my Levi D. Smith Entertainment Facebook page. So this is actually a post that I used the publicize in WordPress to automatically post this to my Levi D. Smith Entertainment. But yeah, I'm not even to 100 likes yet. I think I got my 20th like recently. Now you can go out, and I think there's a way to send your page out to all your friends to get them to like your page. But maybe a quarter of my friends are actually gamers. I don't want to spam my gaming page out to all the non-gamers. So I don't know. That's one way to get more likes, I suppose. But you can also, here's the promote over here. So you click on that. I want to promote my website. Well, I really don't want to promote it. Just doing it for this illustration. You can tell it the URL, give it some text. I guess add some images and a headline and more images, and that's how it's going to appear in a feed. And you can set a location and different interest. I don't know why it suggests soccer. You can set an age range. You can pick men or women. Then here's where you set your budget. And you want to run continuously or have it just last for a certain period, and payment, and you press promote and give Facebook some money, and apparently you're supposed to get more likes. Yes, I don't want to cancel that. And so for each of my posts, like I said, I only have 20 followers, so this reached 2 people. It doesn't give me any statistics on these people. It just says how many people it reached. So I guess it appeared in this many timelines. This one reached 4. And again, like I said, with the Twitter posting on Facebook, I'm fairly sure at the correct time plays a big role as well. And I think built in right into Facebook, you don't need any special plugins, but you can schedule a Facebook post. So I want to post, I don't know, next week. I want to post next Monday of next week at, say, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Schedule a tweet. Oh, you got to type some stuff in first. But then you can schedule it right here. And yeah, there it is, scheduled right there. So I can see it. Can add pictures, whatever. So that's a nice tool, but unfortunately, I kind of like the publicize in WordPress. I wish WordPress and the publicize, you would be able to specify the date and time there, because I don't want to come in to Facebook just to post something I've already posted on WordPress. Okay, Reddit is actually, I don't know, I kind of like Reddit. I think Reddit, from my experience, it gives you an even playing field with everything else, because if you post something on Reddit, you get featured in the new list, and you got a good a shot as anyone else to get featured. I know on Twitter, if you post something without hashtags or anything, I mean, or even if you do use hashtags, they have the top tweets if you search for everything. So unless you're a celebrity, you probably aren't going to be featured in the top tweets. So I think Reddit gives everyone an even playing ground, and people vote up and down your post. So you can either link to a post or an image or things like that. And people voted up and down. And yeah, they got rules called Reddicate, and you're really not supposed to self-promote. I mean, they allow it, but it's highly frowned upon if that's all you do is self-promote on there. And also they have what they call subreddits, is like the different categories or areas on Reddit. They have some for indie games, they have some for games in general, just different categories. So it's really important to find the right subreddit. I mean, if you post something to the gaming subreddit, then you'll easily get lost in the shuffle. But if you find the right one, like for TTY GFX Adventure, like RPGs or retro RPGs, I don't know if there probably is a retro RPG subreddit out there. but just finding the right one will help you go a long way on Reddit. Yeah, some subreddits don't allow linking to an article. They want you to post the whole text of the article on their subreddit. But this is an example right here, my Zelda post. I did a Zelda time-lapse playthrough, or a time-lapse of playing through multiple Zelda games. And on the Zelda subreddits, it got 5 upvotes. On the gaming subreddit, it only got 1. So I can't say, I don't know if it shows how many people actually clicked through on the link or not, but it looks like I got more traffic by going to the correct subreddit. And also, according to the Alexa rankings, Reddit is the number 24 most visited site in the world. Reddit right here, the main page, so I'm already a member, subscribed to some subreddits, but let's see if there's a retro RPG subreddit. Just type in retro RPG. There's retro gaming, but you just want to make sure, I mean, it'll show you how many people are subscribed to the subreddit. This one's 15,000, so this has a good number of people reading this subreddit, and how many people are actually viewing it right now. There's a game dev subreddit, 132,000. So this is one you may get lost in the shuffle if you submit your game here. Here's the posting guidelines over on the side. The do's and don'ts. Submit a thread and all that good stuff. But to create a new post, you just submit a new thread, put a title here, then I guess your text. Now maybe this one doesn't allow URLs because some say, oh, enter your URL right here. And you can choose the subreddit right there. Yeah, so you could find one of these, and I wouldn't spam them all, but the worst thing is you get voted down and you can only get voted down to 0. But yeah, most of these have like sorted by. You can go to the new ones. This will show all the new stuff in the subreddit. You can vote those up or down. And then as things get voted, they go up to either the... I don't know what the difference between hot and top is. I guess top is like the top of all time, and hot are the ones that are getting a lot of upvotes right now. But yeah, I mean, I was able to get for my Zelda video, I got like 800 views on the first night just for posting to Reddit. And I know I never would have gotten that sort of traffic on any other social media site. Tumblr, Tumblr seems to be the hot new thing. It has an Alexa rating of 35, so definitely not as many people, but still quite a few people. It sounds like that's where all the cool kids are posting to Tumblr. And instead of likes, it has notes. So like here's my Tumblr page right here, all the things that I've posted. So here's my do's and don'ts of indie game booths. Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of... but you never do know how many people are viewing my post on here. But I get a few notes. Somebody liked this. Somebody reblogged from my website. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's just more exposure that I'm getting at another site that I never would have gotten before unless I used the WordPress Publicize. Here's a note, somebody. Most of them are just like, oh, so-and-so liked this. I think you can tag these with different tags. And I think a tag is kind of like a hashtag in Twitter. So people can go around and find content related to things that they're searching on. You can post videos directly into... And there's these curators out there that will go and like group things into different categories. Things like that. But apparently, like, here's a curator. He just goes and like retweets or retumbles. I'm not sure what it's called, but different post on Tumblr. Google Plus, yeah, I'm not a fan of Google Plus, but apparently there are still people out there that use Google Plus. I created a page for Levi D. Smith Entertainment. I haven't done anything with it yet. The nice thing about Google Plus, it is integrated with YouTube. So when you post a YouTube video, most of the times it automatically gets posted to your Google Plus page, unless you specifically go in there and say, I do not want to share this on Google Plus. Because sometimes people like comment on my Google Plus, like, oh, great video. I was like, oh, I've never used Google Plus, but it's because of the automatic linking over from YouTube. And I remember when Google Plus first started out, they only allowed like real people. You had to have a first name or last name, but now they allow adding a group or company. So I stumbled upon, this is one that I just found out about not too long ago, and it seems like it's a neat concept. Not a lot, it has an Alexa ranking of 269, so it's still up there. And basically you just click the Stumble link and it will bring up a random page in the Stumble Upon like database, just a random page, and people can either vote these up or down. And I don't know, maybe they have a listing somewhere of the highest voted pages. I'm not sure. I don't have any list. I have 3 likes. I guess that's like the default list. But I went in here and liked, submitted my own games, or 2 of my own posts. This was actually a review from the XBLIG by Tim Hurley, so I went in, submitted that and liked that. And here's like my Expando Ray post-mortem like that. Here's something else I found here that I liked. But it just keeps a track of things that you've liked. It has these different categories, videos, interests, things like that. Yeah, so that's basically Stumble Upon, and yeah, it may not be the hugest social media site yet, but some people who may have not known about your game may find about your game that way. People that may not be gamers, they may click that Stumble link at the top, and then up will pop your game. So it's just another way to expose people to your work. A lot of other social media sites that I won't go into detail on, but Pinterest is a good way of like sharing images, like screenshots and things like that. And they have their own little verification system. You could put a small file on your website and you can verify that you are like the owner of this website. You create these different boards. Now this is like some of my own hobbies and things like that, but I do have like a board for the games that I've created. I really don't keep this updated. I wish this was integrated with the Publicize on WordPress, where it automatically posts pictures and things, but I just don't have time to come in here. I mean, I uploaded a lot of my screenshots for my games here, but I just don't have time to come in here and update my Pinterest all the time. But it is a nice interface where you can add screenshots and let people look at them and things like that. I have like one board of just all my Let 'em Dare time lapses. Like I said, I haven't put my latest ones on here yet, but all my older ones. I'm not sure if this links directly to YouTube. Yeah, it looks like it directly links to YouTube, so you do get a YouTube view out of it. So you might get some views this way that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And like earlier, I got the cards integrated, so people can get to my site this way. So somebody might find my website that way as well. Yeah, the TV World post-mortem. Yeah, that was interesting. One thing I didn't mention before is when you integrate the Yoast SEO, then on top of your page, it has that little green light for each of your posts, so you know whether it's a good page in the eyes of search engines or if it still needs some work. Instagram, I really don't promote my games on Instagram. I guess you can do it. I've seen some other games promote their games on Instagram. You might reach another audience that way, but it's another images only, and you can only do mobile. So that's a real problem for me promoting my games on there. So it's like the only way I can put my games on there is if I actually go with my iPhone or my mobile device and take a picture of the screen. I don't think there's a way yet to upload images from a web interface. So Vine, not sure how many people are still using Vine. Oh, by the way, Pinterest is number 37 on Alexia, Instagram is number 26, and Vine is 636. So it's really lagging behind. It was like Twitter's answer to like Instagram, where you can do short video clips and share them. Then they loop over and over again. So I don't know. I mean, if that's your thing, you can still maybe reach some people who wouldn't have known about your game otherwise. Then way far behind at an Alexa rating of 73,000, we have Identica. And I remember Identica was like the real hot thing in the open source community about 5-7 years ago or so. But it's like an open source version of Twitter. And but the thing about it is, if you're making an open source game for Linux, that's your audience right there. So I definitely use Identica. Then they have Diaspora, and I know that thing started up like years ago. It's supposed to be the Facebook killer, the open source version. And they got something out there, but I don't think it really has taken off yet. But I'd definitely use Identica and Diaspora if I was releasing an open source game, because those are the people who would want to play that type of game. And I'll briefly I mentioned Greenlight earlier. Steam Greenlight does give you a way to, you can get analytics on your Greenlight using Google Analytics. And I went in, I paid the $100 submission fee. Well, actually, it's $100 donated to charity, I think to Child's Play or something, to be able to submit your games to be on Greenlight. So if you get enough votes on Greenlight, or if the people at Valve deem your game worthy, then you can be included on Steam. So that's the only way you can get on Steam, is to submit your game to Greenlight and get approved by Valve. And they give you some different statistics, like your current rank, how far you are to the way to the top 100, how many people have looked at your game. So by now I've had over 1,000 people look at my game on Greenlight, and some of those people said, hey, yeah, I know it's not on Steam right now, but is there anywhere else that I can play your game? So I was like, yeah, you can get it on Xbox 360. I'm also looking at other platforms. So I mean, that's people that didn't know about my game before. So it's $100, but it's going to charity. I guess you could like put that as a tax deduction or something, since it is charity, but got a few followers as well. So I mean, it's a little bit of exposure there on Greenlight, even if I don't ever get on Steam itself. Players, and then vote on your game, and yeah, you can use your Google Analytics. You get some stats: how many people have upvoted your game, how many total visitors, and how many followers. Then they give you a little graph of how many yes votes you've gotten over time. One other point that I wanted to make is really important that you have a responsive website, because I know mine was fairly slow earlier this year, so I went in and did some optimizations. And there's two really good websites. One is GT Metrics, and I have some screenshots of that right here. And you just put in your website URL, click go, and it'll add you to the queue, and their little robot will go out and download your site. And when it comes back here in a minute, it will give your website a score. So I'm not sure if it's possible to get like both A's on here, get one A, because I've done some like really high profile sites and they're getting B's and C's and everything. So I think the important thing to look at on this page is the page load time. Mine was almost 3 seconds, which is fairly good. I mean, it's not perfect, and I think that's on the first load. I think subsequent loads may even be faster. And also it gives you your page size, which is like, yeah, you don't want people having to download too much information, especially if they're on a mobile device and they're on a data plan. You don't want to be sucking all their data down for your website. It tells you how many different items are requested on the page. Then it gives you all these different like things that they recommend to be improved. So I got mostly all A's on all this. Like 1F, specify image dimensions. I'm not sure why WordPress isn't doing that for me, but some of these things you just need to go in and set a WordPress setting or something, and that will take care of it, some of these compression things. So it gives you a page speed grade. Then there's this thing called YSlow. I think that's from Yahoo. It's a different set of criteria on different things you can add, like a CDN, which you can offload some of your content off to other servers. Like if you have users in Japan, well, you want to offload the images to a server closer to Japan and not have to send it over the wire, over the ocean or anything. But yeah, I mean, mostly all A's. I mean, just a few things that need to be fixed here, but still decent time. They also have like a timeline. It shows all the different resources that it's accessing, all the CSS and images and all that. It gives you like a little timeline, waterfall of when these things are loading, how long it takes for them to load, and when it's connecting and waiting and things like that. Because you can find some dependencies like, oh, well, it can't load this image until this one page or part of the content has already loaded. So you can find some ways to optimize things in there. I think these lines like tell you when it started rendering, then it's when it's fully rendered. Give you a larger image of that. So yeah, just some statistics on the different pages on your website and history. So this is through all the speed tests that I've done on my website. It shows how it's compared. So it's like the HTML download time, it's stayed fairly consistent. That total page load time, it's gone up a little bit. It was down to 2.2 seconds. Now it's up to about 3. I may have added some more content on the main page or some additional graphics, which makes it load a little bit longer. The page size has stayed fairly consistent over time, and my scores have stayed fairly consistent. So yeah, this is a really good resource. It looks really nice and has a lot of good information right there. The other metric site that I've used is Web Page Test. And you can, one thing I like about Web Page Test, you can select different servers from around the world. So if you want to test your website, see how fast it is from Europe, you can use Web Page Test and it will try to do that. You can also select which browser you want it tested with. So if you want it tested with Opera, see how fast it is loading on Opera, then it'll let you do that for some sites. It gives you a film strip view of it loading. It gives you a similar waterfall view, and it also calculates the first and repeat view. So I want to do levidsmith.com. You can also specify like URLs at the end of this if you want to test like a specific page. Because on my website, I have a caching tool. I should have talked about that earlier. But there are many, many different caching plugins for WordPress. So choose your favorite. I highly recommend it, especially for your main page, which, especially if it doesn't change very often, it's good to have that cache. That way it isn't pulling all of the resources from a database. every single time and doing the dynamic PHP or whatever in there. So it basically boils it all down to just plain HTML. That's how it caches it. So it makes things a lot faster. But yeah, some of the other pages may not be cached, the ones that are actual posts, and those may take a little bit longer to load. So it's a way to test the speed of all of your pages on your website if you want to. So you can select a location, like let's do San Francisco, and I want to test it with Safari on Windows. Why not? And you just click Start Test. Now this site does have a lot more ads that you have to look at, and sometimes you have to wait behind other people. Usually I'm first in line, but so yeah, testing has started. It started 16 seconds ago. So that doesn't mean that it's taking 21 seconds or longer to load your page, because it does an initial test, a first like grab of your site, then it does a repeat, a second grab of your website, because after the first load, then some things are cached. So like somebody comes to your page and then they come back a couple of days later, then it's going to load a lot faster the second time, just because some of the data on there is cached. So yeah, for my same website, this one gave me AAABB. So different set of criteria. I really like the statistics on this web page test site. Like the first view, actually this is the GT metric said it loaded in 2.9. This one it's 5.117. But this is running on what was it? Safari on Windows. So you also got to account for the browser as well. Then the repeat view, when it grabbed it the second time, was only 1.4 seconds. So that's not bad at all. I think as long as you're under 7, you're doing good. If you go over 7 seconds, then people tend to like kill it and go look for something else. And also another interesting thing is the start render time. So that's when something starts painting on the page. Not everything's loaded yet, but at least after 1.4 seconds, basically 1.5 seconds, they're seeing something loading in on the screen, which is a good thing. I'm not sure about the speed index, some other metric they came up with. Then it gives the complete time, the number of requests, and how much. So this mirrors what I saw in the other test, about 1 megabyte of data that was pulled over, then fully loaded, about the same thing. Just like the GT metric site, it gives a waterfall diagram so you can see which resources are loading at which times, and it gives a little legend up here. So you can see how long it takes to fully load. Here's the connections that it's making down here. And here's all the resources, like all the data you'd ever want to know about your website. It's all in there. Everything in the kitchen sink. Then here's the repeat view. So this is like after some things have been cached. So it takes a lot less time because all those images and everything, the ones that haven't changed, they're cached now. So it's a lot faster the second time you view it. A lot fewer resources loaded. It gives you a little screenshot. Fully loaded, document complete. It breaks down into these graphs of the different type of content, the images, the HTML, JavaScript, the CSS, by number of requests, and also by bytes, performance review, things that you can improve, like the CDN. It's complaining about that again. I think some CDNs cost money. It's like, oh, you can compress some of these images here. Like, oh, there's one that's failed. Oh, but this isn't. This is an image that I'm using from the Greenlight page, so I really don't. Some of these I just don't have control over. If it's an image that I'm pulling over from, like a widget, a Greenlight widget, or a widget from Itch.io, I don't have any control over compressing those. Progressive JPEGs, like a few I could do some compression there. Browser caching. Yeah, and I don't have the CDN. And it gives you some, like it says, use the CDN. Here's what you can do to resolve that. So this is all the different domains, hosting, content. So by far the most comes from my own website, levidsmith.com. It's like some specific fonts being used. See, I might be able to go in and like use a standard font instead of this font's G-static. I think that's coming from the WordPress theme. So might be able to change that if I wanted to make my website a little bit quicker, not have that custom font in there. Yeah, so when I ran the performance test from Virginia using Chrome, it gives me the option of a video. So you can click watch video. Click on that. Then it will show, so that's 1 second, that's what the user's seeing. After 5 seconds, looks like it's almost completely loaded. And then after 7.5, it's completely loaded. So basically you can see how the robot saw it as it was loading. Yeah, so that's basically it for my talk on promoting your game with social media. So yeah, I hope everyone found this informative. I know it's a lot, but doing all this, I think it's really helped me learn more about how to properly use social media to get the word out about my games. I know there's not a lot of information about like doing marketing and promoting your game. So yeah, hopefully people out there find this helpful. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any questions or anything, you can always contact me on Twitter, GATechGrad, and just send your questions or let me know what you thought about the video. So thanks for watching, everyone.